This is Habromania, a game that looks like a cozy Alice in Wonderland inspired RPG, but hides a dark psychological horror underneath. A story that isn't about a magical land, but about a very real asylum, a cycle of trauma, and two young characters, Cordelia and Alice, who fall into the same nightmare. The demo has just been released, and the creator has hidden the entire story across their social media. A story of a girl who became a monster, a man trapped in time, and a new girl who is about to repeat their mistakes, or be possessed by the same smiling entity that started it all. Hi everyone, I'm NotWalm, and today we're piecing together the intricate story of Habromania. Using the demo and all the secret lore from the creator, we will explain the tragic origin of the Queen of Hearts, the identity of the Hatter, and the true overarching villains of this entire story. So take a deep breath and let's dive into this rabbit hole. Before Alice, there was Cordelia Roswell, the 19-year-old spoiled daughter of a wealthy businessman. She was competitive, easily angered, and strong-willed, with a keen business sense her father didn't take seriously. But she also had a soft spot for romance novels, pastries, and gardening. To her surprise, her father arranged for her to marry his 40-year-old business partner. She intensely protested, but her father dismissed her. On their wedding night, when her new husband demanded his wifely duties and climbed on top of her, Cordelia stabbed him to death in a fit of panic, terror, and fury. She was arrested, but her father, appalled by the scandal, pulled strings. He purchased a crumbling asylum and renovated it into the pristine Roswell Institute for the Mentally Insane. Cordelia was sent to live at the institute. She was treated like a queen, but was a heavily medicated prisoner, with her every move being monitored. Her father refused to visit, only sending white roses once a week, which she grew to hate. Her eccentric nature put most people off, but she soon found one single friend. His name was Charlie O'Hare. Charlie was once a brilliant, if eccentric, and paranoid hat maker, co-owning a shop with his charismatic older brother, Louis. Louis was the only one who could manage Charlie's manic episodes, but Louis's fatal flaw was his blind optimism. He fell ill, refused to believe it, and died abruptly. This shattered Charlie. He had a complete violent nervous breakdown, destroying his shop and inadvertently hurting Louis's wife when she tried to calm him. He was arrested and sent to Roswell, where he completely repressed all memories of his old life, even his name, going only by the Hatter. His mental state deteriorated, and he began speaking to an invisible creature he calls the Hare. He was the only person who didn't treat Cordelia like she was insane, and she grew to adore him. After being mistreated by orderlies, Cordelia reached a snapping point. She used her gardening privileges to find and hide a hatchet. That night, she used it to escape, beheading anyone who tried to stop her. She made it to the garden, but tripped and fell into Wonderland. She was then greeted by the Cheshire Cat, who seemed vaguely familiar, and she quickly bonded with the Hatter. The cat told her of a ritual to return to the surface world. She convinced a reluctant Hatter to join, but something went terribly wrong. The details are a secret, but the result is clear. The original Red Queen is now dead, and Cordelia and the Hatter are still trapped. Cordelia appoints herself the new ruthless dictator, the Queen of Hearts. Convinced violence is the only way to get respect, she becomes obsessed with escaping and enacting revenge on the Hatter, hell-bent on beheading him. This is where our game begins, with Alice. She's a 19-year-old girl sent to the same Roswell Institute by her wealthy parents for her fits of hysteria, endless curiosity, and a perverse curiosity for the taboo and macabre. She resists the drugs and behavioral therapy, wanting only to be free. One night, she steals a nurse's uniform and escapes to the gardens, tumbling into Wonderland and waking on a tea table with no memory. She's greeted by the Cheshire Cat, who offers to help. though his intentions are never clear. The player's choice, whether to be patient or use force and manipulation, will determine which of the 4 endings she gets. She eventually finds the Hatter, who has been in Wonderland for a long time. He's in the middle of a never-ending tea party, terrified of Alice, believing she's an agent of the Queen of Hearts. The Queen has declared he is to be executed at 5 p.m., but he avoids this by using a stopwatch to freeze time at 4:30. Alice must be inhumanly patient to convince this clever, creative man to become her ally. Their journey won't be easy. The creator has revealed that when they reach the Red Kingdom, they're arrested immediately, as the Hatter carrying all his tools and supplies is anything but inconspicuous. He is terrified of the Queen and can't even look her in the eye. He refuses to tell Alice why the Queen wants him dead, but Alice begins to sense it has to do with their failed attempt to escape Wonderland, and what Cordelia was willing to sacrifice to leave. The resourceful Alice uses Wonderlandian food to shrink and slip through the cell bars, but the Hatter isn't so lucky. Alice disguises herself as a maid, and after pestering the Queen, Cordelia begrudgingly allows a trial. But the Queen doesn't play fair. She informs Alice that the only judge, the White Rabbit, is in the White Kingdom on the other side of Wonderland, forcing Alice on a new quest to convince the perpetually high-strung rabbit to proceed. This entire journey leads to several endings. One ending sees Alice return to the Institute, where she's told her parents have authorized a lobotomy. She has to choose, comply, or do the unthinkable to escape. If she chooses the unthinkable, the Cheshire Cat visits her, frees her, and hands her Cordelia's old hatchet. Alice finally understands why the cat was so amused, and a massacre begins. She cuts her way through the hospital, her laughter echoing as she kills the staff. Depending on her choices, she can even find the Hatter and escape with him. So what is really going on here? This is where we connect the lore we have so far. This isn't just a story. It seems to be a cycle. First, Cordelia and Alice are parallels. Both are 19-year-old girls dismissed by the world, who are sent to the Roswell Institute, escape to the garden, and fall into Wonderland. Wonderland is a space created by the trauma of the asylum. But why was Alice sent there in the first place? The creator's post reveals the truth. Alice had a brother named Jack. Videos show her in a car with him, and then his body on the road. This implies Alice might have had a psychotic episode while driving, resulting in her brother's death. That's why she was institutionalized. But the most important string reveals the true villain. It's the Cheshire Cat. The creator's post shows that when Cordelia becomes the evil queen, her eyes turn from blue to green. And in one of the endings, after the cat gives Alice the hatchet, her eyes also turn green as she murders the asylum staff. The cat might not be a guide. It could be an entity that finds their trauma amusing and influences them to become violent. Even Alice's car crash is connected. An image shows a white hair figure standing over Jack's body. The Hatter is known to talk to an invisible creature. He also caused the hair. It's likely this entity appeared to Alice, causing her accident and killing her brother, setting this entire tragedy in motion. This game is incredibly promising, with a story that is already so deep and tragic. I've only scratched the surface, but let me know your theories. Do you think the Hatter can be saved? And what do you think is the cat's ultimate goal? If you want to support Habromania, check out the demo and follow the creator, Symphony Sonata, on their socials. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, please make sure to smash that like button, share and subscribe for more explorations of dark and fascinating horror games. Thanks for watching, I'm NotWalm, and I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe, and be careful what rabbit holes you fall into.